Tophometer here. For anybody wondering, I'm currently drinking Parish Envy. It's a local Louisiana
Yeah,
brew.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Strong IPA. I'd
Moving on.
recommend it to anyone who can find it.
It's not a beer podcast.
You can call me Toph.
Okay,
You
this
just went
is
in robot mode.
Style here.
Hi, this is Style. You can go by Billy or Style in this. Either one's fine.
All right, and I am Lost Art Major, or Paul, as you might hear me called, as Tophometer's my brother, or LAM,
Or LAM.
as everybody
Or
in the Alliance calls me. Whoops. So the first thing we're gonna discuss is basically what's this whole thing, by the way, guys, is gonna be about the event, the current raid event, first raid event for the Raid Wars. First question. What do you guys think of the effect of it being all 4 stars and below, and mana speed? Everybody's at fast, right? So even if somebody's like average, slow, or whatever, they're at, what is it? Extra fast?
Very fast.
So
Very fast.
yeah, everybody's at very fast regardless, and it's only 4 stars. And below, but 4 stars mainly. I think they both serve the same purpose, which is to flip the game on its head a little bit, to be able to change the meta so that heroes that don't get usually used get used, heroes that some people think aren't good, or the people who have them and are struggling, like they can shine a little bit, and really just provide like a shot of life and vitality into a game to keep it from going stale. That was the sense I got from it. We get into the actual rankings and how they change and what the effects are, but really I think it's a good way to kind of mix things up.
Hey Toph, are you on Wi-Fi, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking, because it is coming through a little robot-y, but that's okay. So
I think Toph's kind of hit it right on the nose there. It is just to bring more variety into the game, because as it stands, there's only a handful of heroes. There's tons of heroes in the game, but there's only a handful of heroes that routinely see play, especially at higher levels. This kind of breathes some new life into some of those lesser heroes that everyone had kind of overlooked, and it also gives newer players a chance to be kind of competitive. We eliminate Toph's giant lineup of all 5 stars here, and
yeah,
the free-to-plays have a chance.
The first time I thought, like, oh man, if only I had maxed Colin.
So well, this kind of brings up our first interesting side topic, which is do you guys really think that people who are playing either free or just maybe playing a little bit more to their own style, or whatever like they enjoy, whatever tune they enjoy, where you always have that one friend who's like, man, I know everybody says this hero is bad, but I love them. They were my first hero. They were my Charmander.
Yeah, I was gonna say your brother.
Yeah, that's me.
So
your brother does that and just pumps a ton of money into him now.
Do you think this is like actually a competitive chance for them to get some good loot though, since the reward systems are always like these percentage things,
they're
right?
Very top heavy.
No,
top heavy.
No, you still can't compete unless you've already got the huge rosters, and the people who have the huge rosters have access to all the lower heroes too. And in a month or two, we'll have the appropriate ones maxed, and they'll math it out. I really don't think that it's going to open up the loot floodgates so much more. It's just give an additional source of loot.
Okay. So, but you think it might be like a nice ego boost, at least?
I think it'll be fun.
I mean,
Oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna
say, go ahead.
It's a nice. It'll still give people, even at lower levels of the game, just additional loot. Now it is going to be more of what Toph was saying, of the rich just getting richer here, because it is very top heavy in terms of the rewards. But that being said, it is possible to be free to play and be in that top like 50%.
Yeah.
The rewards are still pretty decent. It's not.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like the top play. It's not like the events where UCLA Pack's going to win 99% of them and just nobody else gets anything worthwhile.
And it is one of those things too, where like the top 50%. I mean, like even top 25% sounds prestigious, but then you you think about like 75% of the people who you were in school with, and you're like, okay, wait, maybe this isn't so difficult, right?
Yep.
I would agree with that.
And I think anybody listening would agree that, like, by the time that you're the person who would bother listening to this, you're probably already in that top 25% as of intellect, at least.
Or
Don't care.
TOPH is only talking to the people in our alliance that aren't listening to this right now, just for clarity's sake. So please don't be offended.
So, okay, so back to the question though. What I'm wondering, so we have, okay, one, it's all 4 stars. So my normal question would be like, what does that make the new top dogs when it's 4-star only event? But now we have something else, which is, as far as I know, the first time we've had something like this in the game.
Yeah.
Where every mana speed is static and it's very fast. That means how many tiles?
6.5.
7, effectively 7, because you can't use 4-star troops to
bring
it down to
All right.
6.
So 6.5 rounded up to 7, unless you have maybe a mana booster. Like,
no, that still doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
a mana boosting hero.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, unless you have a mana effect.
Yeah, but they're the only ones I can think of.
Lancelot.
Lancelot, I guess, would be sort of playable here. And then like Friar Tuck or something weird.
Right. I'm already on the Friar Tuck train. In general, I'm definitely wanting to bring out a green roster for my offensive raids and just find
I saw you
talking
about Gil Ra. That's not going to work since everyone's going to be rocking Kirill.
Wait. This I think is a really interesting point, because you were talking earlier about, I remember reading a thread where you were mentioning that you thought mono stacks would be less effective in this mode, and I'd like to talk about that for a second, because we preach on and on about the value of mono stacks in wars and even raids to be able to like climb higher ranks. And if that's not going to be as effective in this one, I'd really like to like discuss why.
Okay, we'll get a good chance for that in one of the upcoming questions. So just hold on to your thoughts. But the main thing is, what kind of hero does this help out? The mana speed change, and I mean, just out of the 4 stars in general, like who's already a great 4-star once you cut out the 5.
So, I mean, when you look at heroes as a whole in their classes, most snipers are fast speed or very fast, or at least average, and most AoE speeds are average or slow, or even occasionally very slow. And like the speeds balance out the damage to the whole team and the various effects and stuff. So if you take like Colin's damage and you make that hit in 7 tiles instead of 13, suddenly he starts looking a lot better, because the biggest thing we knock on him has never been his damage. It's been how quick he can get it out. And I think
if he survives to get it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go ahead, Sal.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. So basically, and the problem also with going down to 4-star is the 4-star snipers do so much less damage than 5-star snipers do.
Yeah, that's true.
That by removing their advantage of being able to go off sooner with this very fast raid, it makes them significantly worse. They're not going to one-shot anybody like maybe a 5-star would. It probably take, I would say, probably what, three 4-star snipers to kill another 4-star,
something like that, without like buffs.
I think that's about right, unless for whatever reason the hero is very squishy.
Right. And so at the same time, if you call in Little John or like Hu Tao, that's pretty much a team wipe on the other team.
So I want to talk about something that we haven't talked about, which is I think mana effects are going to be the strongest. They were already the strongest, but I think they'll be even more strong with the accelerated speed. So something like Proteus and Hansel, those guys are going to be really nasty to deal with.
So we're talking, when you say mana effects, do you mean mana reducers or things that block mana, like Hansel, like silences?
So silences and Hansel, basically. So Merlin, Hansel, and Proteus are the 3 that come to mind that I think are going to be the best in this, followed by AoE stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not really sure on is where the trio of like Grim and his kin are going to actually fall on that, because I think they might be able to,
You're talking about
with
the
very fast
everybody who
charge,
does the
The
3-hit.
pulverizers.
yeah, the defense down with the very fast charge, or even with the like maybe something like Guardian Falcon or something. I think I think Guardian Falcon might be pretty good in this. I think Grim, Tibertus, and Gormek are going to be pretty good, because Grim, I think if you use Grim and then a sniper, I think you can do it in just Grim and the other one, and Grim becomes a sniper essentially with the very fast charge.
Right. So anybody who has Grim, who are the other two?
Tib and Gormek.
Yeah.
Tibertus and Gormek, basically.
I don't even think you need to go to Tibertus and Gormek. Just Grim's going to be the.
Okay.
Grim's going to be the boy. So what about Riposte?
Okay, hold on. Oh yeah. Riposte. That's a good. That's a good
we
point
might
for
as well
this.
finish off the mana topic, though.
Oh yeah, sure.
So as far as mana manipulation goes, mana reduction. I earlier Lamb and I were talking, Paul and I were talking about the mana reducers. He was thinking Lee was going to be a beast, and Lee will still be okay. I was talking to him though about you got to keep in mind anything that reduces mana, so just takes away mana that's already existing, is actually going to end up being less valuable in this, even though it is going off faster.
Because other people are using it faster.
Because they're also charging faster. But one of the main things to keep in mind also is because the break point for charging a very fast attack is 7 tiles, that's going to be hit most often by in 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 waves of
I see
3.
what
So
you're
you're going to
saying.
make a 3 match, and then you'll be at 6 tiles, but you won't be charged yet. So if you reduce their mana at that point, you still are going to have to make another 3 match, and that should still take them to full. So it's not going to
Right. The
not
only
going to hold
will
off
make a
their
difference is when they were going to do the 3 and then make a bomb out of 4, and then that was
right.
just enough. And even then, they'll just pop the bomb and be there anyway.
Correct.
I mean,
Correct.
I think setting them back by a turn, especially
But
in
what
an
I'm saying is,
AoE damage, is okay. But
what I'm saying
what
though
you're
is I
saying
think it's
is
going to
that you
actually
think
set.
they're gonna get their powers off before her
So it'll
powers
be
are
better.
off, right?
It'll be better if people aren't running mono. So Li Zhao will be significantly better if the very fast specials reduce the effectiveness of mono teams, because then you can't get it back with just one match, right? You reduced all of the like 5 different like ones that they're tallying by one match, so that's significant. That's like 5 turns of it potentially. But if they are running a mono, then it's just one more set of 3, and it might as well have not happened.
Right. That's fair. So it won't set them back a turn as far as any individual match, but it will set back the other heroes. For Lee's case, Chow certainly won't do that. But Lee, where he hits the whole team, it will potentially set their others back if they're running like Rainbow or something. They'll have to charge each individual one. Although, like I said, I don't think it's actually going to take them an extra turn for each of those heroes, because
Right.
if the break point is 7 and you're going to hit it in increments of 3, you're going to get to 9. 9 tiles is still going to charge any one of those heroes.
Well,
Yep.
here's what I find
even with a setback
frustrating though when I'm playing against Lee, because I think on offense Lee in this event isn't looking amazing or anything. Like, it's AoE.
He's always
It's
been a
good
defensive
damage,
nature of the
yeah.
That's
game.
correct.
He
But-
pops off and reduces
Right.
you when you're already at full.
Exactly, which is exactly what I'm thinking about here, which is basically when Lee goes off and reduces them, with her being set to very fast, especially if, like, let's say somebody put Lee as their front center tank. What
Okay.
are the odds that she sets them back maybe even twice or 3 times, where they do their tiles, they get some unlucky falls, where you get into
it's going to come down to whether you're running mono or not.
I don't think it does, because we would be talking one individual at a time. So I guess it does set you back if you let her go off multiple times. But let's say you're just talking, I don't know, your Grim going off. Your Grim's going to charge in 7 tiles. So you hit 3 and then another 3 stack of blues. You're at 6. Lee goes off. Your next set of 3 is going to charge that Grim, and you're probably going to kill that Lee. I don't think you're going to be running only one of each color. You're probably not going to be running rainbow.
I mean, the situation where the Lee thing changes or pivots though is where you got your Grim to charge, and in doing so, you set Lee's special off, right? And now, even though you just had him charged, and he's only a tile away, you have to make another move before he's charged.
Well, so that's the thing is, it's not going to work like that. Like, that's not how it's going to go down. So let's say you match the 3 blues into Li Zhao, and now she's charged 3 tiles, and you're charged 3 tiles for your Grim only. And except she gets 1 additional charge because she's on defense, and it assumes that she like hits her thing, right? So it goes up a little bit, and then you do another 3 tiles into her, and these also happen to be Grim. And so now Grim is at 6, and she goes off because she's had 3 tiles, and then that 1 from her turn. So she goes off, so she drops you. And
I don't think that's how that works, though. They recently changed the defensive mana gain. So if you're a fast hero, say, normally you'd go off on offense. I don't think 8 on defense charges you anymore. They've edited that. They've extended that.
Well, it doesn't need to,
right?
Because if she charges in 7 tiles, and you get 1 tile of charge per turn,
right?
Then
They've increased how many tiles defenders to. This was like kind of I don't know when they changed this. It's been pretty recent, though. It's been discussed. It's been in discussion on the forums. They're trying to figure out exactly what it is. But instead of charging in that 6.5 or 7 tiles, the defensive mana gain from a tile hit has been reduced, apparently.
Oh, I did not know that.
7 tiles,
work is reducing my effectiveness at this game. Oh, I gotta get a new job.
So what they're saying is that, and that's making slow heroes even worse, because instead of 12 tiles, it might be 14.
Absolutely.
It might be 16.
That was a big draw for like slow on defense.
Yeah, and I'll link in our Discord the discussions on that.
Sure.
There's people.
And
I would love to.
And I'll put that wherever we put this up as well, YouTube, etc.
That was very helpful.
So,
I see what you're saying, Paul, and you're right. That circumstance could certainly come up where you do charge Grim. It might not be like from the start of the game, but at some point during the game where you charge a special and it happens to set off Lee. You're right. That would set him back a turn. I don't know, that's more important than, like, say, running a hoop and having a 30% chance of them just missing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a great point. I think who's looking amazing in this, which brings me to my next thing, which is best 5-star defense.
I'd like to go ahead and say let's avoid calling him Who, because it's like an Abbott and Costello bit.
Okay.
Here, so
Hu Tao. Okay. Mr. Panda, as I refer to him. Every time I lose to that, I just turn to my fiance and I go, "Fucking Panda." So, which, being a little bit lower level than these two, happens more often than I'd like to admit. Okay, Hu Tao. So, alright. Here's the question.
The percent misses are going to be stronger.
Here's the question.
In this tournament as well, by the way.
I think that might be true when we have more abilities going off and whatnot, but alright, so best defense. What are the standout heroes, if you have them, and what's like the generic things you should be looking for in this raid tournament for defense? Style. No. Let's let Toph go first, and then next one I'll have Style go first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fuck. Okay. The things you should look for in defense. I think we made a pretty good case on the forums and briefly discussing for Hero being central to most defenses in this tournament. I don't think other healers are going to be great, and I think regen in general is going to be awful. What you want to do is you want to punch them harder than they punch you for this tournament. So high AoE, high damage, mana reduction, percent miss, all of those things. Those are better. Like Hu Tao, I think, is better than a healer in this, because Hu Tao's percent miss chance that he gives everybody will do more to keep your heroes alive than, for example, a Bold Tusk will. And I think that's important to realize, that it's like when you're thinking about your defensive team and its defensive abilities, the things that keep your team alive are essentially the same. So healing, percent miss, defense up, all of those things, those are similar. And in this case, in this particular tournament, healing is going to be much, much less effective. Defense up is going to be okay, and percent miss is going to be okay, but you'll definitely prefer those to healing or regen, considering the rate of special which way. And that's something to keep in mind.
Okay, but when we talk about slow heroes, right? Or not slow heroes, but when we talk about this tournament, we have this situation where everybody's mana is set to normal, and you think, or to a standard, I should say, and you think the people who are going to benefit the most from that are whoever was knocked the most for that before. So the slower mana you are, like what you would normally assume is, well, getting that set to very fast, you're getting more benefit from this tournament than anybody else, right? And healers are normally a normal charge or lower. Although I do think maybe for the, you guys can correct me, but for the 4 stars.
Here's the thing about healers, Paul. You can't heal past full. So healers don't do anything when you're at full. And additionally, on defense, you don't get control on when that heal goes off. So when an offensive player is raiding you, especially in this particular tournament, you can't control when your heal goes off. It's not going to do any benefit for you if it goes off when you're already at full. And if it goes off when you're at 2/3, all it's doing is taking them from needing 3 snipers, or needing 2 snipers, to needing 3 snipers.
So you're
like
saying,
they're going to burst you down regardless.
You're saying
so
that
healing doesn't help. If you bursted one of them, then they might not be able to burst you.
So you're saying that the randomness of healing has a chance to have like 0 effectiveness, but the randomness.
It's both the randomness and the fact that they can sync all of their attacks at once. So even if you have a heal charged and you were going to save it, it wouldn't have even mattered because they went 100 to 0.
Whereas on attack, or rather with damaging heroes, even though they can still do the sync thing, at least you're getting some benefit when their powers go off no matter what.
Yeah, if I was setting a defense for this thing and I had all the heroes available, mine would be like Kirill in the center, and then 4 nonsensical heroes that I'd never used, like Colin, Little John, Hu Tao, and what color am I missing? Purple? Maybe. I also like Proteus.
Can we just stop and have you call him Colin, though? Because you mentioning Colins is...
Right. Okay. So I was
look, agree to disagree. You know,
everybody.
Well, I mean, calling him Colin does kind of sum up what I think of him in general. But, you know, I guess in this circumstance, maybe Rozzy had foresight, and she's right on his effectiveness.
Rozzy is our fellow compatriot in the alliance.
Right. There's been much discussion of how good
her and Style, her and Style have an ongoing feud.
I view it more as Jacksonville.
At some point, we'll have to get her in here if she's willing. At some point, we'll have to get her in here if she's willing to have this out live. You know.
Right.
Well, I'm about that. Let's host some co-leaders.
So he's right though. I think Kirill is probably, if you're going to run a healer, it's going to be Kirill, because the defensive buff is actually going to keep you alive potentially, and you will have to surround him with damage dealers. Healers are definitely bad in this, as TOPH's already touched on. You can't heal past 100, and if they take you from 100% health to 0%, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't out heal a one-shot kill. So they're effectively useless, and by running multiple healers, or basically any healer other than Kirill on your team, you're basically removing one threat from the board. You could have had a damage dealer in that spot.
Okay, I agree with your second part, but to be fair, an offensive hero who is 100 to 0'd is equally useless without a special book.
That's not what I'm saying. It's useless in terms of, if let's say you had a Ryguard on the board, I don't care about the Ryguard going off because it poses no threat to my team. The win condition is to charge my heroes and to kill your heroes. It's not to tile damage your heroes down. So
people who are using tile damage to win matches are most of the time doing it wrong. The trick is to cue your specials synchronized and murder individual foes.
Well, wait
That's-
until the next event when it's tile damage only. No powers.
Then I'll eat my words and say in that one instance,
trying to think of what
everything changed.
so far there's 3 events in the works, and I'm pretty sure I'm trying to remember. One is no healers at all. Healing just has no effect. I guess you can run the healers, that just has no effect.
Do you think
and
they
then
think
the
that
third
healers
event-
are OP right now?
So what we ran into, Toph can probably agree with me on this, is at lower levels, healers, because you don't think of synchronizing all your attacks, and you probably don't have a team built around just nuking their team down, because you don't know that's the optimal strategy yet. Healers when we first started this game were insane. People would run like 3 healers on their defense, and you'd be like, well, shit, how do I kill them? You'd have these prolonged 30-minute battles, and you just lose this war of
Yep.
attrition.
Yep.
And now we
That's
laugh
my
when
life
we
right
see
now.
it, because now we laugh when we see it, because it's like, we hear team members talk about it, and we're just like, shit, I just wish we could sit with you for 10 minutes and give you a tutorial,
I mean,
and this would not be an issue. This should be a
I'm so happy to be the
easy
dumb
win.
one in this conversation as far as the game goes, because like just the other day I noticed a change into the I don't know what to call it, overtime mode that
Yep,
I think that if I was a better player I never would have known about, because I just had like a Kirill versus a Kirill sitting there, and I'm just pumping shit into him, and he's fucking auto healing and boosting his defense, and I'm pumping shit in. We're getting nowhere, and the timer's about to run out, and I'm like, when does the 400% damage boost come in? But
Did they remove that now?
I have, so in this particular fight, I know
So-
I was over 30 turns in. I don't know if it was there, but they removed the indicator, if it was a bug, or if they just removed it altogether.
Anecdotal.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, because
It
I'm
may have
pretty
been a
sure I've
bug.
seen that recently. My purple team is as much as I love Proteus, I have no burst damage at all. So I've had some prolonged matches just
This was,
Yeah.
dealing with that.
I think
Here,
this was
here,
3 days
give
ago.
me 5 minutes. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a beer.
Sure. All right. At this point, I'm gonna cut this out, like this next
Okay.
5 minutes, so we can just hang
Yeah,
out,
that's fine. Yeah,
because
that's
it'll
fine.
be more clean. Unless you have anything in particular in
yeah, I
response
can-
to Toph
yeah,
that you don't want him to hear.
Well, yeah, crap about them.
Well,
No,
no, this might be a good chance to get your uninterrupted thoughts on
right.
this same question, which is best defense.
So, yeah, best defense. Let's see.
And
I
I
do
should
think-
specify, sorry,
yes,
I'll probably
for
cut this
for
out.
the event.
Not just for the event, but I want it
Best
to be
defense overall.
I want it to be directed in kind of 2 ways. One is like, you can pick out of all of the heroes automatically maxed. What would you pick? And the second is a realistic guide for what should people be looking for out of the ones that they happen to have good, and what's like the cutoff. If you have a 3-star who's maxed versus a 4-star who, you have a little bit into, but they're not there yet. How do you make that decision?
Okay, I guess the
I'm back.
if you were BT House and you had every hero in the game, I think the Dream Team, and Toph's going to disagree with me, but the numbers don't lie. It's going to be it's going to go from left to right. It'll be a Lassie, Zelene, Gravemaker, Kage.
Oh, sorry,
and then
for the event.
Probably June. Yeah. So there won't be 5 stars for this event. So
Right.
I'm thinking, and of course, I have none of these heroes because I figured out early how bad slow heroes were. Sorry, Rossi. Kirill's going to be your tank. I think Kirill is the premier tank for this event.
So Kirill in front. If you have him maxed, that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah,
You
that's
think?
what you do.
Kirill in
Yeah.
front, and then alternatively, you could just go all damage. You could just take all the strong AoE damage type deal. Lil Jon's probably the best green going.
Yeah.
As much as I said mana reduction, so like Lee and Chow, people who steal mana that's already generated, is probably not that great for this. Decreasing the amount of mana gained, I think, is probably stronger. Plus Lil Jon hits pretty hard, and he actually has a chance of going in this event. So that'd probably be Little Jon.
What's
Tau.
Little Jon's mana reduction again?
Let me pull him up. He's I don't know off the top of my
Sure.
head on Max. Nobody in their right mind, anyways. Let's see, 64% mana generation down 3 turns.
I mean,
pretty damn good.
That's massive.
It's significant, right?
What's the purple? I think the purple you run here is Proteus.
Yeah, it's Proteus for sure.
If you have
Proteus, if you have him. Green, honestly, I would say maybe
so what you're
Hansel
saying right now
over...
is Kirill in the front, right?
Kirill in the front.
Proteus, this is an optimal team. Defense, absolutely. We're talking defense only, guys. If you're looking for offense, that's going to be next. But for now, this is the defense.
So I'm thinking it's Kirill, Little John, Colin, Hu Tao, and then what am I missing? Oh, Colin, Pro Tao, and Proteus. I'm sorry, Hu Tao and Proteus. I think would probably be my go-to lineup. I think there's a real argument to be made for just dropping the Kirill and just going YOLO, just all offense, and going Grim or something like that. I think that's valid too.
Yeah, I'm fine with all of that. That's pretty much
in that situation.
If you do go Grim, you make Grim your first. Like you put him on your far left.
Yeah, in that situation, who would you put tank? Hu Tao?
I think Hu Tao probably.
Yeah, you would go Grim, insert whatever, and then Hu Tao, and then the next two.
And I don't know how new any of our listeners might be, but tank, just in case you're wondering, means the center position, getting hit the most, fastest charging.
Front and center.
Typically. So, okay, so that's the optimal defense. Now, realistically, I guess the first question is, can you bring a 3-star? I mean, if you have 4 stars, what?
If you have no choice, you bring a 3-star.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I could help it.
That's the only situation where maybe, basically, you only bring a 3-star if they're already higher stats than your 4-star option for it or something.
I'm so convinced that 3 stars are bad, and I'm also so convinced that mana reduction is not necessary for this, that I'm actually running 2 Proteus in my defense. I dropped a yellow. Now, I don't have any slow heroes, so my defense is far from optimal. But
they're punishing people for optimizing, really. For chasing meta. Sure. This is what you get.
For sure. I have no dispute with that claim. Yeah, the fact that I have Scarlet in my defensive lineup is a shame.
So here, let me ask you a question, Style. My red options are Wilbur, Bold Tusk, Guardian Falcon, Keylile.
And when you say your options, Toph, you mean these are maxed heroes, so you would consider taking
my max 4 stars that I can insert as my red and defense.
Oh shit, that's a tough one.
I know. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, you don't have any pressure on them. Do you have a strong secondary in a different color that you might even consider doing what I did and running like multiple of a strong hero like a Proteus or something?
So I'm just gonna say no.
Okay, of those,
this is why you don't focus, 5 stars, guys.
I can't run Grim because Kirill's my tank, and I can't give any more incentive to stack greens.
Build from the bottom up, max your 3 stars. You can start passing people who are like 10, 15 levels ahead of you in your alliance on Alliance Wars. You get all the credit, just because you put a little bit of food into 3 stars and 4 stars. Instead of trying to chase down these 5-star raid monsters.
I've been, we'll call it lucky in the fact that I haven't had a 5-star worth of shit in quite a while. And it's forced me to have a very deep bench of maxed 4 stars, which is, you see in my performance. None of that is from having like optimal heroes. I look at BT's lineup and Toph's lineup and just, man, salivate. I can't even imagine. Honestly, Rozzy hasn't posted her lineup in a long time, but I think she's probably got you guys beat, to be honest with you.
Rozzy's is disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. In your case, though, as to your question, Toph, I would kind of, Well, let's see. It's Khalil if you're going to run Kirill. There's also an argument to be made. Yeah, I really don't usually like Wilbur, but I think you might even consider dropping Kirill for Grim and running Wilbur. But I think I'd probably just suck it up and take Khalil.
Yeah, that's what I decided to do. Take Khalil. Before we talked, I think I was leaning towards Bold Tusk front and center and Grim as a sniper, but I feel better with Khalil and
What's the problem with Wilbur on this event?
You know
what?
He's okay.
4 stars.
Let
are
me get us back on topic.
loaded.
I forgot my own job here.
4 stars are loaded. They are loaded with cleanses. Like you can't rely on
ally
buff
cleanse.
debuffs.
Ally cleanse. Yeah.
I mean, and everybody in the guard, right?
They don't have like cleanse ally, right? Rag I think is the only one to cleanse ally.
Oh, cleanse enemy.
Yeah. It's I forget what is that called? Dispellers.
Yeah. I was
so a lot of dispel enemy.
I mean, yes, and even then, like, let's say you throw a Grim at either it doesn't even have to be like a counter the Wilbur with a Wilbur. Let's say you throw Grim at them. Suddenly, that damage shared is a huge like debuff instead of a buff.
Okay, guys, pause. Follow-up question. Okay. Moving on a little bit, but in the same vein of what we're on right now. If you don't have the 4 stars, or first of all, 4 stars, we're looking for AoE. It sounds like.
Yep.
On your defense, we're looking.
If you had a slow hero that his ability was just insta kill like an enemy, you would go that in a heartbeat. I'm not going AoE because the AoE is inherently stronger. I'm going AoE because it does the max total damage. But if you had like a slow hero that did insane damage to one hero, I would rather have it focused on one.
But that's just not in the game, really.
Right. But I'm not going AoE because AoE is inherently better.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
It's important to clarify.
Yeah, that's a fair point. If you for some reason have a 4-star who does 1000% of their attack, just take them instead, and then let us know who that hero is and how to get them.
And I honestly think that hero would be not that spectacular for normal mode.
Yeah, that's fair.
That would be balanced, I think.
Which says a lot about the current mana balance in the game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's just numbers.
So
it's just optimal stuff.
So basically, if you're wondering who to take, first things first, take your highest level 4 stars on defense.
The stat difference is just so huge, but
what about
there's
Rainbow?
Such a huge gap between 3 and 4.
I mean,
if you can
Rainbow
go Rainbow,
less
probably go Rainbow.
Is Rainbow less important here? Are you guys more ready to sacrifice it because obviously Tile will be less of the damage?
No, I sacrifice it out of necessity because my yellows are terrible in this this game. Proteus.
How much could a player stack on Rainbow or should stack?
I don't think you abandon Rainbow, because if you abandon Rainbow, all you give the attackers both the benefit of being able to kill you with tile damage and with specials, and you really don't want that.
Right. The reason I felt okay doubling up on my purples, though, is because in general, save for maybe Jackal, yellow 4 stars are trash in this game right now.
Yeah, they're not.
So I feel okay.
And while Jackal is normally gross in this meta, he's just, as far as 4 stars go, that is.
Yeah, he benefits.
Because you can't bring June.
Well, yeah, that, and he's already...
Right, he's already extra, or whatever, very fast, so...
Right, so he's okay. You know what, if they've got, like, a team of 5 Jackals and they're gonna just punish me severely for running 2 Proteus, so be it.
The Jackal squad.
I would say, for my sake, for the defense, I think I'm going to be okay if they choose to stack Liju and Chow's against me. I'm okay with that.
So quick summary then. Go Rainbow. We're agreed on
that.
If
possible.
Yes.
If possible, go Rainbow. Yes.
Which for a lot of players who are playing on the cheaper side is probably already what they have, a Rainbow lack of 5 stars, maxed 4 stars, something that they had before a 5-star. Sorry, what?
that's the beauty of this tournament, right? It gives them the opportunity to be a little bit more competitive and have a little bit more fun and have theirs, like, think about them in a different way and use them in a different way.
So
I do think this was a good move by the developers. I just don't know how much it actually tosses the meta on its head, but the fluidity of it, I think, is exciting.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's as far as your question as to the 3 stars, if that's all you've got, I just compare stats. If your 4 stars are only partially leveled, I mean, if you got to go with what you got. So if you only have 3 stars, I mean, use them.
Do you think a 3-star, if they're very slow but have a very strong ability, which some of them do?
You're talking about the weird, like, shared defense up, like, or an Ulmer or something?
Yeah, that. I mean,
He's talking about Ulmer.
I'm talking about Gilra. Okay. I think Gilra has a stacked palette on her ability, but she's a 3-star, and also in normal circumstances, it's a slow ability.
I don't have a Gilra save to pull up in my hero.
I do. I'm having to deep though. Or no, actually, I don't. Shit, I had to go to.
Okay, first of all,
it's like
out of
it's like
3
a
stars,
down, defense down, right?
Right, along with a ally cleanse, which you're only finding in one 4-star purple right now.
And me both go.
Right. So are you talking on? You're talking on defense. You're thinking of running?
Yeah,
Gilra?
yeah, I am. And the
Just
question here.
Keep in mind that one Kirill going off completely overwrites everything that she does to the offense.
Yep.
So so this.
And Kirill, we already decided was going to be in as many defensive squads as.
Right, but I think he's on offense too. I think he's viable on offense. And if you're not running Kirill on offense, as much as I do think healing is bad on defense, I think healing's great on offense. I'm probably going to run 2 healers on most of my squads because they can't synchronize their attacks.
We're going to get to offense in a second, but that is fair in this analysis.
It touches on this one because they will, for me anyways, I'm going to be probably running blue and purple, and so I'm going to be having Kirill and Rygard there. So I really don't fear a Gilra.
Don't you think? Okay, if somebody
honestly, on offense, you want to be running greens too, because you're going to see a lot of Kirills, because there's a lot of smart players out there, and they're going to determine what we determine.
See,
and so a lot of Kirills. So if you got greens, bring them on offense, especially if you have Hansel, bring him.
I thought a lot of offense, because you guys are talking about it at the high level, understandably. But I feel like a lot of people on offense in this, in general, are gonna bring the slower mana troops, or slower mana heroes, just automatically, because they're gonna think, hey, those have to be super strong because now they're very fast, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna game plan around people playing poorly to you. Totally acceptable, I guess.
That's fair, but
I mean,
that was really that makes me so happy.
That's fair, but I think that if you game plan around everyone playing 100% optimally in a tournament, that's only going to be around for a spare moment before we even get a chance to figure out its meta, unless it comes back around.
That's fair. Do we know, is this does this maintain like an
That's a great question.
That's a great question. Against other people? Really, because if it doesn't, you're not gonna be, even if you lose a few, you're not necessarily gonna start seeing the bottom players. You're gonna still be seeing.
Well, you would think
it even makes it good and bad.
To do with the 25% top and the way they're doing rewards for it, that they would have to basically have a sort of elo reset from the jumping off point.
I would think that they don't involve elo based on the way they're scoring you, because part of the score is how well you do against good defenses. So if you kill a defense, you get more points for it towards the end, counted for you, if they performed well. So if you had an elo system, the people that get off to a slow start would never be able to catch up because you'd only be facing lower tier defenses.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think they would have to completely randomize face.
Which brings in a really weird question that we don't have to get into, but is it better to make it seem as if that defense did better when you were attacking them? Is it better to sandbag it a bit before you win?
Make it close?
I don't think it grades you it's a pure did you win, did you lose? If you
Oh,
lose,
okay.
how many people you killed. So if you lose and you killed 4, you do get points for those 4, but you don't get the bonus
I
points
see.
for a complete win.
Understandable. Okay, so because that would have been an interesting meta
I
question,
really like Paul's sandbagging line of thought, though. How many can I let him kill and still have this?
right?
Right.
I want that to be the next tournament guideline. Win with
Walk
one
that
hero
line.
up.
Win with the least amount of HP remaining. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down for that.
So, okay, I just felt like there might be a lot of dots, a lot of damage over time, and therefore anything that dispels is good
Yeah.
on defense. And Gilra is a 3-star who dispels status ailments from allies.
So here's the thing. I'm going to be
But you're right about the Carol thing,
Hard,
if he's
Brody.
coming on offense.
Ansel and Cademon and the Merlin wizard healer guy. I'm going to be bringing those on all of my offensive attacks.
So you're saying if she's against 4-stars, she's just fucked. So don't bring her. Bring a 4-star.
If that's all you have, bring it.
Yeah,
By all means, it's better than
Yeah.
nothing. You know, it's going to be tough to decide. You're going to have to actually look at stats and decide for yourself. Just keep in mind that any debuff that you put on them, they don't have to just have a Rygard to cleanse it, or I guess another Gilra. Trying to, they can override it with a Kirill or overwrite the attack down at least with a Bull Tusk or something.
Bull Tusk or whatever, yeah.
That's a great point. All right, so moving on. We talked about best defense. Let's talk about best offense. What are we looking for?
Ooh.
And now, obviously, I don't want to know the optimal if you have these 5 rare heroes. What I want to know is what type of ability is strongest, and what type of targeting is strongest, and if we should be mono stacking, 3-2 running, rainbow, exactly. Like what?
Okay.
I can't.
I will hold on, Chris. Sorry, Toph.
Yes.
Let's give Style this one first.
Yes, please.
Okay. I think this has. I think defense is pretty straightforward, and I don't think there's going to be much development in the as far as that goes. But as these tournaments continue, and when this comes back around again, I think this one has the most wiggle room in terms of. I don't think there's one set correct answer from the get-go. The only thing I can say for certain, as far as offense goes, correct. The only thing I can say with relative certainty is that mono is not going to be the play. I don't think, because mono, you're banking on there's always, pretty much always, if you have a god tier board, you're going to win. But the vast majority of mono matches, you hit this lull about halfway through where you're just clearing dead tiles. Well, if they have all heavy hits that are charging very fast, that lull is that much more deadly for you. So I think you just get punished more on that lull.
Yeah, you can't survive that.
Right. I just don't.
And, I think it's going to be, you want 3-2 or 2-2-1.
I would agree with that. Yeah. The question then becomes,
3-1-1.
Right. The question then becomes, do you try and, or do you bring mana controller? There's a argument for a world where you just bring like Guardian Falcon and like 3 Collins or something weird, 2 Collins or something, obliterate them in one go.
Just try to one-shot it, yeah.
Right. I mean,
I actually like
or how about Wilbur Colin or something? Right?
Yeah, I like that
Wilbur
a lot.
Colin, Wilbur Colin, who crazy, and you're just going to do insane damage. It would just be ridiculous. But I think 3-2 or 2-2-1. I don't think Rainbow's the play here either.
Yeah.
But certainly mono, I think, is off the table.
Back to the 3-star question then. What about 5 stacking Ulmers?
Why don't you do that? Report back to us, buddy.
I'll let you know when I have my.
What is his
Ulmer's
attack
maxed.
value? I think Ulmer's
It's high.
attack value.
His
Is
attack
it
value
really?
is high for a 3-star.
Oh yeah, it is. It's 528. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's the
know
rest
why
of the
you
stats
attack...
and the slow or very slow.
Right. Is 528 a lot of damage? 16% damage though. I mean, and then the 34% defense doesn't actually stack. So
No, but I mean,
the defense doesn't
for one,
stack,
you get the benefit
but
of-
everyone's charging at the same rate. It's hitting all 5, and everyone's
Right.
benefiting after the first one hits.
if you were gonna go for that, well, I just don't know how much damage he's actually doing. I think 1 is maybe arguable if you only had 3 stars. 1 with some other little bit heavier.
It was just a
hitters or something.
theoretical that if you're going to run
I'd like to see it.
multiple
I'd like
Kurals,
yeah,
maybe.
record it. I want to see it in our chat here.
So, I actually don't have 5 maxed Ulmers, but if anyone out there does,
who would?
please try this. Let us know. Holy shit.
I'm telling you, if I was TOPH, I'd have such gimmicky shit going on. I'm giving up that if I get the tonics, I'm just going like Evelyn, Elkinen as my offense. I'm just going to raid 3-2 from now on. And I think it's a crazy enough gimmick. Or it might just completely set me back forever, but...
I mean, there's only one way to find out.
Correct. I'm all in if I can't get anything out of these TC20s. But
at some point we'll talk about the debate on TC20s, how many to run, etc.
There's no debate. There's an optimal number.
Okay, we'll have a discussion. I feel like you think there's no debate about a lot of things that are debated, to be fair. So, alright.
Alright, I'm running out of steam, guys. I had a long day.
Chris, offense. Who do you run?
Oh, Lord.
What types of heroes? Not just your roster.
If you have not the mana reducers, but the mana like
blockers, controllers,
you run them. If you have a Merlin, if you have a Proteus, if you have a Hansel, you're bringing them in almost every offensive raid because, as broken as they were before, they're more broken in this tournament.
What about the green pirate?
Oh yeah, if you have Captain Boy Peters, you'd bring him.
Did they? Am I crazy or did they change his name? It used to be Boy Peters, right? His card now, I think, just reads Peters.
It does. It does reads Peters now.
Yeah, I don't know when that, but I saw that our new member has him, and it kind of like blew my mind.
I fought against one of them the other day.
I don't like annoying. That. Change bad.
Yeah, Hack has him. Yeah, I saw it, and I swear that used to be different.
So Peters,
he'll be fine. Yeah, he's. I think honestly, probably like him. Probably like him better than him. What is Hansel? What is his percent damage?
200 something.
Yeah, it's 225, I think.
Never mind.
Plus 100.
I take that back.
Not 100.
Hansel's still significantly better.
And his like every time it pops does a shit ton.
Yeah, it's a surprising amount for when you fill their mana bar.
Well, also it's not affected by like defense up. So
no, it's a set number because it's like 20. It's phrased in the dumbest way possible. It's phrased as like 21% damage, and your initial question is always 21% of what?
Right.
But it's like 21% of his attack stat. I think it just does it as a flat damage number.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
is he the only like? Is that the only effect that works that way? I mean, between him and what's her name, his sister,
Gretel. Well, yeah. I also keep in mind damage over time is not affected by defense either.
That's true, but this is the only DOT because this would be affected, right, by maybe his attack buffs or no?
Well, DOT, the number is actually affected by your base attack. So at the start, if you have a high attack stat troop, I guess it doesn't like say Bold Tusk went off. That doesn't calculate into it, but your attack stat from troops, yes, troops do get counted into the
base.
This is useful shit. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's important to pay attention in war because they make a big difference when you're like being like, oh, I can take them, and then their troops are level 20, and it's rough.
I had no idea.
That's accurate. And then all defense, your dots are going to do more because I think you get like a 15 or 20% stat buff on defense. Like all
Wow,
your
there's
heroes
a
have
lot of hidden info in this game, you
yeah.
know, that I had not realized. But that's, again, super good to know.
That's why if you fight it, he just obliterates your heroes. If you
Who?
charge a Kage, if Kagaburo or whatever the hell his
Oh,
name is,
yeah.
Kage,
Kagaburo.
if he goes off, he's gonna almost one shot pretty much any 5-star in the game. He does an insane amount of damage, and on offense he does a really good amount, but it's not nearly as strong as he is on defense. He's absolutely nuts.
Insane. Okay,
I
good
mean,
to know.
there's a spell built in there too, like before the damage. Nasty.
So style, offense.
Yes. Offense. Oh,
You won that, right?
First of
yeah,
all,
I'd
2-3,
gone.
2-2-1, 1-4, 5. What are we looking?
Yeah, I was trying to look at mine, see what I was going to do. I say Toph had mentioned earlier stacking green. I don't think you need to stack green, even though there's going to be a lot of Kurils, because I don't think tile damage is going to be the way you win. I don't have. I think probably 2-2-1 or 2-3 is going to be the final verdict there. I don't have the slow heroes. I'd probably go with them if I had them. I am going to be running 2 Proteus and a Ryguard, so I'm probably going to be doing 3-2. I guess that makes my other 2 Kirill and Grim, or Kirill and Sonya.
You do a lot worse than those.
Right. So 3-2 final choice, but I don't know how much that's influenced by the fact that I just flat out haven't bothered with any slow heroes.
Agreed.
So, what do you think, like, besides obviously what you have maxed already, stick with the ones you've maxed, right? On offense still?
So,
Or is there wiggle
yes.
room?
Yes, stick with the ones you've maxed.
Yeah, I don't think they're stacking colors of, like, if you're trying to stack purples and bring in like a Balthazar, I don't think that's necessary. I'd rather have a 4-star of a different color.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Stick with what you've maxed. Stick with 4 stars if you have them maxed. That is.
But
And
get creative, because it is a whole new world, and I'm thought of it everything, you know.
Right.
So
the point with stacking is just concentrating. Like if you're going or something like that, is concentrating that damage into the tiles, and basically you're trying to kill some of their heroes or take some of their heroes off the board before their specials can go off. Because they're going off so fast in this, it disincentivizes you to try and tile damage them down because of the heavy price that you pay later on in the match. So
yeah, you're not going to rush them in this mode.
Right.
Sorry, go
you're
on.
sacrificing your mid game and your mid late game in exchange for a super fast start, theoretical potential super
Right.
fast. And in this, because of the way that they all do so much damage and they all charge so fast, there's no incentive for you to bring 3 stars just to have extra of a certain color, because that tile damage isn't really going to be your win condition.
Everyone's fast start, period, just because of
correct.
Even unless, I mean, what about the synchronization of abilities though, right? Like having a character who lowers defense charging at the same rate and going off at the same time as someone else who does a lot of damage.
We do appreciate the value of that, but that's why we recommend 3-2 instead of Rainbow.
Right, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so follow-up question.
If you're asking, do you bring Gil Rod to charge into your Tiburtus? No, I don't. My concern with bringing the 3-star just for that utility that they bring is that, keep in mind the defense is going to be charging fast as well, and the 3 stars are just so much squishier. There's a very good chance they just don't go off at all. So that's kind of the concern there.
Yeah, that's very true. So stats are still somewhat king in terms of and and after that,
go ahead.
After that, we're looking for maybe a 3-2. What do you guys think of
3-2 or 2-2?
3 colors, no less than 2 colors.
All right, Toph. I'll go with you first. 2-2-1, 3-2. Which one's better? Stats being the same.
For this tournament?
Yeah.
I think 3-2.
Mr. Style?
I'm going 3-2. I think 3-2 is stable enough in terms of always having tiles on the board to be charging your heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That 3-2 is fine. Like I said, 2-2-1's probably almost the same. Like I don't think the extra tile damage for 3-2 versus that one extra floater being what it is going to be a huge difference. But I do
what
think
is going to be a difference
at the same time.
What is going to be a difference is if you have all three of the hitters that you need to burst a single hero charged at the same time. And
Yeah,
if
that's
you're 2-2-1, that's not necessarily going to be the case.
So then, given that you guys are thinking 2-3, are you thinking 2-3 with a healer on both sides of like both
Yes.
colors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going.
So maybe
and
like
I said,
Bold Tusk Kirill or
I don't think I'm going to go Bold Tusk.
I'm not, yeah.
Because Kirill already has the attack,
Yeah,
although
sure.
it's weaker than Bold Tusk. I think Rygard's going to be a staple on everybody's attack.
If you have Rygard,
Kirill probably will.
If not, you're going to bring Sabina.
Ooh, that's an interesting. If you're going to bring
Sabina's
going off.
Answer Kirill.
If Sabina's your answer to Kirill, why not Melindor?
I mean, I also him. Also,
okay.
Because Melindor's basically green Sabina. Because we haven't.
If I had a maxed Regard, I would bring Regard.
Okay, that's what I was gonna. Because I'd always wondered why in the hell you had.
I didn't get Regard till
purple stack.
This is my final question.
Okay.
And we'll end it after this. And I want you guys to go for the fences on this.
Let me pause it real quick. Style. The reason I do use Sabina is because I didn't have any dispels at all when I got her. So I was like, oh, good, my first dispel. So and she's stuck with me ever since.
What are you talking about? Tyram.
Except for Tyram.
I get heals. Like I said, we started the game. Heals were like OP because we just didn't know about burst.
And it's still good in certain situations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without question.
Yeah.
I was confused. I didn't realize you didn't have a Rygard max because I thought at this stage of the game you probably would. I just thought maybe there was some kind of reason you were bringing her because she does have a higher attack stat. Maybe like that puts you into some kind of breakpoint where you could 3-tile kill Gwyn, and with Rygard, that little bit of attack difference made it to where it didn't quite kill her or something.
So
if purely you just don't have Regard, I totally get that. That's
I don't have a match Regard because I got Kage right after her. That was takes forever.
Oh, yeah, Kage goes first.
Can I just say?
And now I want to, but I'm like, I really need Tiburtus for my yellow Titans, and then I'm like, do I need another purple healer? Like, I'd like to have Guard, but is it worth maxing just to have him? Is he that much better than Sabina that he takes prioritization? Like, that.
Can I just say, personal opinion? You guys don't have to comment, but I do think the 3 stars. Well, I can't even think of another 3-star with the same stat profile. But 3 stars like Tyram, where their stat profile is shit offense, solid defense and health that like rivals 4 stars around the almost ascension point. I feel like those are the best 3 stars.
I agree. I brought
stick
Tyrone
around and then you get the effect.
I was using Tyrone like when I was flirting with Diamond.
Wow.
Tyrone was my
impressive
for the longest time because I just couldn't get 4-star.
Yeah.
I got Grim early.
I used Tyrone a long time. And all the boards were like, use Baltazar. He hits harder. And I'm like, 3 stars don't hit hard enough for it to matter. I'd rather have the dispel.
I think in like season 7 or something, Tyram should be removed. Should have been removed from the auto pulls of camps and stuff long ago. And then he should be made into like an upgraded 5-star Tyram for everybody who still has him.
Just to reward us who remember him.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, right?
Tyram's daddy.
Daddy Tyram.
Yes. So,
right,
last question.
Dark horse for this event out of the characters.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Can
That's
be
a good
offense, it
question.
can be defense, and you guys can have a second think about it.
Oh, you know what? We've been talking time. I forgot to mention. I brought up Little John. I I'm remiss to say that I think Skittle Skull's better than Little John. Couldn't say it. I really do. That attack down.
Haley loves Skittle Skull. My
No,
fiance,
I really
she
do
loves it.
think he's more, as more big. Attack down's good too. Or they might be about on the same scale, to be honest. But both are good. Both are definitely good. I don't know if that's what you're talking about as far as Dark Horse,
Yeah,
because he's never
Dark
really
Horse.
used.
Dark Horse
Dark Horse.
is like something
Unexpected.
something that nobody, that everyone's looked over, that
Like,
you
if
think
you
is going to
had
turn out big,
pick
possibly.
heroes be on a high percentage of high level teams that do well in this tournament, that was not talked about much, valued or underrated. I think maybe that person might be. I think that person might be Wukong, and he's not used as a raid hero a lot, but I think he pushes people's breakpoints. Like, if you use Colon and you shoot that AoE off and you have a Wukong buff on him, that damage is going to be very, very high, enough to one shot or at least come close to a lot of their team. And the hit percent is rolled separately for each person. So getting that Wukong into like a Hu Tao or a Colon or a whoever, I think that could be a really nasty combination. And if you are going to run 2-2-1, I think Wukong as your one off color is not a bad one to do.
It's really interesting.
I would agree with that. Wu is strong. He people don't like the randomness of the rolls on his
I mean, it
stuff.
feels bad, but it doesn't mean
It feels
it is
bad when it
bad.
misses.
And that's the thing with
It feels
AoE being
bad when
the fact that he rolls separately for each one means that might not be as much of a deterrent. You know, like, you're not using single target snipers where you miss the entire damage.
Plus, let's say
Like-
that your roster isn't as good as some people's in this thing.
Yep.
You know you're not going to hit the high
No.
points. You can put Wukong in there as just a dice roll that maybe you
Wukong
get
lets
higher
you
than you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, he for sure.
He what?
I definitely, he's a great equalizer for sure. If you didn't have an optimal team, but you had like a couple Hu Taos or you know, a couple AoE heroes, even honestly, even with snipers, it's fine. If you miss, the punishment for missing is far less severe as well,
Yeah.
because of the very fast raid.
That's a good point.
He I think he's solid. I think because Hu Tao over, what does he buff? Let me pull him up real quick. He makes it basically like a triple attack all in one. Is that 185% attack? So yeah, almost 3 times your normal damage. So he turns something like a Caedmon into potentially a one-shot kill.
Nasty.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. I still don't think he's good enough. It's gonna tempt me into using him. But part of purely because he doesn't sync with Proteus, so I have incentive to do that. And
Agreed.
I think Proteus is OP, so.
And I don't have him, so.
Right,
I'm
I
not
also
but if I
Colin,
take a dark
Skill,
horse, that's my dark horse.
Yeah, that's a good pick. What?
that's probably the best pick.
Well,
That's my
style.
not so dark.
Unfortunately, TOPH went first, so he's off the board. What do you have?
Well, then I'm just going to go back to my
Little John?
on off. If Skittle,
Skittle.
we've been talking John so far, and I do think, I mean, minus 64% mana
sorry.
gen is insane.
Skittle
But
on offense.
Skittle on offense.
Yeah, I think I agree that
Chris,
that's a strong.
let him talk.
Dropping their attack.
Voice my support.
Oh, yeah, well, like you said, part of it is got even though I don't think tile damage is that important in this challenge, he is green and he's seeing a ton of Kirill tanks. You're going to also combo him with Lil Jon. You know, it's not a defensive situation where it's one or the other, and I think one or the other probably a little bit better. But dropping their attack just means when their specials do go off, they're going to hit like feathers, and that keeps you alive too. So he's going to deal damage to all, and he's going to keep you alive, and it's hard to really even express how good that is. I legitimately, in my fire stack or in my red stack, I bring Scarlet for exactly that reason, because she's going to go off fast, and I don't have a hitter that's going to be able to eliminate anybody before they go off. So I fire off Scarlet just to basically make the damage they deal not as critical.
You
So
know,
Skittle just does that on a wide scale. He's going to drop all their attack by the same amount Scarlet does for every single one of their teammates, keep everybody alive to go off.
and his
I like that
damage,
start
his
spot.
damage is good, right?
Yeah, he hits all right. Yeah,
I
he's hit
mean,
pretty hard.
I think sometimes people forget as you get into the higher echelons, out of the 4-stars, how much damage Skittle's doing. Like, he has a very high
You
base
don't have
AD.
regard, it hurts.
Yeah, it does. It does. And so, in a tournament like this, it's the kind of thing that maybe people catch on to or they look over. But I think any champion that's a 4-star that's hitting 5 with high base attack and a good or decent ratio for a 5 hit is looking pretty good probably
Agreed.
on offense.
Yeah, once you start things on them, I mean, you throw a Skittle on, throw a Hu-Tao on them, like game's over.
Yeah.
they're not when they do charge slow ass rate, they're gonna miss half the time, and then they're not, even when they do hit, it's not gonna do any damage. It's yeah, slow
It's that
heroes are
it's
some
that
of the slow
weird
heroes are.
situation where like I wish I had like 5 maxed out Skittles. It'd be actually hilarious.
You've never wished before, for sure.
Right, and that's the whole point of this raid tourney. That's why it's fun. Is that it's people, like Haley's situation, she maxed them because she didn't have any other options,
Yeah.
and she was very happy with them. If you only had 3 stars, Skittle is insane. Skittle's way
Absolutely.
better than 3 stars.
Blows your mind.
So I totally got why she maxed them. If she's still playing this game in 6 months, she's going to look back and kind of laugh about it. But because the state she was in this game, there's a lot of people at that rank where they're leveling Hu-Taos and Skittles because that's what they got, and I think that puts them at a little bit of an advantage here. They're still not going to be able to compete with the big spenders.
It's a relative boost.
Right, it's a relative boost, and as long as they're up like 50, or if they can make it up to 25%, they're getting pretty good loot. You don't want to be in like the bottom 1% and get like a silver token or something, but
I mean, it's okay if you are. It didn't cost anything to sign up.
It's better
Somebody's gonna be
better than nothing. That's for sure.
I mean, it is free loot, but
that's what this game all is. It's boosting your position relative to the other people at your level, right?
And
if
that's
you go
great.
up, you get better loot. How faster you go up more.
The best way to do that, spend money. But the second
No.
best way to do that is to
Listen
listen to things like this.
That's right. Tune in again.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. But that was a lot of fun, guys.
Toph, call your shot.
Wait, what?
Where are you gonna end up? Point to the Babe Ruth. Point to the
I
stands.
like this.
Are you in the top 1? You top 5?
So, do I think I can hit top 1? Yes. I don't think I'll.
Where will you be?
I think I'll finish top. I know I'll finish top 25. I'm gonna try to finish top 5.
Top 25. Way to hedge.
I know. All right, I'm calling top 5.
Top 5. I think that's probably where I end. The only thing that would hold from that is no slow heroes. No slow heroes in a event designed purely to make slow heroes better is a little bit of a holdback.
You tricked me into crippling my.
But I am going to go for
style. You convinced me that slow heroes sucked, and I agreed like a noob, and now here I am.